seeing how, I don't know, like the way the movie ends, how Black women can thrive with sisterhood, you know? Because that's like the big theme for me is, of course, it's about PMDD, but it's like how I and we showed up for each other through, you know, her PMDD was affecting her and me. She was messing with the money. We was losing our jobs. I'm like, girl, you would come on.
And that's on Period, sis. Welcome to another episode of Period, sis. Just when you thought a woman's body couldn't get more dynamic and complex, boom, you learn about PMDD. PMDD, or premenstrual dysphoric disorder, is a severe form of PMS. Now, y'all know about PMS, but baby, it gets even more chaotic. This is often brushed off for as women being dramatic or overreacting. But it's important to realize there can be some serious hormonal related issues that we deal with in a cycle on a monthly basis. Today, I'm so glad to be joined with Cousin Shy and Qing Key from the award-winning film Donna and Allie. Ladies, thank you so much for joining me and reaching out. I am really excited to talk to you ladies today. But before we get started, we have to have y'all introduce yourselves to our audience.
Okay. I am Cousin Shy. I am a filmmaker and an actor.
Hello, everybody. My name is Qing Key of the Poo-Tang Clan, Frisco in the building. Okay, I'm a rap star, actor, comedian, little something on the side, you know.
I just need to tell you, the way I found out how to pronounce your name, I immediately was like, oh, Qing Key.
Yeah.
Like she's a little kinky.
A little kinky.
I mean, of course, that's how I listen to your name. Thank you, ladies, so much for joining me. Y'all are also the amazing duo and actors on Donna and Allie, which we will get to later. But before we get there, I want to definitely talk more about your own personal journeys. We're going to be talking PMDD, which you bringing that to film and onto a screen is incredible. But I want to hear your personal journey with both of your periods, of course. So let's start off with you, King Shy. Or, I'm sorry, King Shy. Here I go, King.
You
Cousin
made us
Shy.
one. You made us one.
You know, Cousin Shy. I made both of y'all kings, okay? Cousin Shy, tell me about your experience.
So, when I was in middle school, my first experience with PMDD was just me fighting. And I was a punk in elementary.
Fighting? Okay, wait. Okay. Let's get there. Go ahead, no.
I just started going from like 0 to 100. And I remember we were on the schoolyard, and there was a girl who walked up and she was talking to my friend, and she was like, you know, you're a white girl, you shouldn't be sitting with the black girls. You don't belong here. And I was just like, I don't know what it was, because, you know, I'm a very compassionate and understanding person. And she just, I just went from 0 to 100, and we were fighting. And then I just kept, you know, like, I was just going in, and I was just like, why did I do that? You know, because it felt like it was bullying, you know, at the time.
Right.
And that's just what I'm thinking, like PMDD, you know. But we also lived in a really like racist city, so we lived in Reno at the time, and that's what my brothers called "run every nigga out," or you would call it like the old Mississippi.
Yeah, I never heard that one.
Right.
And so I was like, damn, like this was her safe space. And she was just like, oh girl, you know, she gotta go, you know, and whatever trauma that she had before then or whatnot, like I had just felt super guilty, because what I noticed is every time I got into a fight, I was like super guilty. I felt really bad about what happened. And this was something that just continued throughout my teenage years. And
you're not about to tell me you was just throwing hands every time you was bleeding. Is that what or leading up to your period, you would feel this burst of aggression?
Yeah.
Like, is that what?
Yeah, so I would feel 10 days before and I didn't know this when I was younger, but 10 days before my period, I have aggression. The rest of the days, it's anxiety. The next, it's anger, and it's like so it's an up and down kind of a mix of a range of emotions. So I ended up going to juvenile for fighting, and no one ever asked me like, hey, what's wrong? You know, are you going through something? You have all of this aggression, and I was just down spiraling. So I was
But this was on a monthly occurrence. This wasn't like you experienced, you know, trauma within your household or from your parents, or this was something that within your teenage years, on a monthly basis, you would spiral into these different emotions.
So it wasn't until I was an adult when it was just like consistently spiraling. When I was younger, it was just like, you know, here and there. But when I became an adult, I was like, okay, so I'm gonna be, you know, like maybe that was just all teenage years and I can move on. And then I got married. And I was working really, really hard on just, my attitude. And, I'm from the hood. You identify as being from the hood.
From the streets.
You're from the streets. and so there was just so much to like kind of work through to be adjusted to this new society. And I remember walking in, I had just got into it with my husband, and I left for 2 hours. And when I came back, there were cars like parked in our driveway, tons of cars. I was like, it looked like a funeral or something. I walk inside, they all drinking, and they're bro, man, it's cool, man, And so I knew, it was, there was like, a theme of, my wife is a psycho. So
Oh no, with his friends.
Well, they were just super supportive, and they would just come like, bro, it's good or whatnot. And I walked in and they stopped talking. So I was like, oh, there's, so I was like, rawr. And so I just started to own it. Like, look, I'm crazy, something wrong with me. I keep fighting. Like, there's not much I can do, about it. Like I've worked on this. I've tried. I've done CBT. I've done, I've tried different drugs, street, like weed. I've done that. And, Ativan and Xanax and that kind of stuff, but nothing really helped. And the last straw was there was so much in
Right.
between. But the last straw is my husband told me to go to the grocery store. And the disarray and the chaos at the grocery store was always just like overwhelming for me. And it was just such a bad day. And I'm pushing my cart, and everyone's like pushing into me. They're grabbing avocados over me, and I
Grabbing avocados over you is crazy.
I just remember the avocado because that set me off for some reason. I don't know. And I was just like, give me space, like get back, And she was just this like 40-year-old woman, like really sweet. Like, she looked like she was just coming in there to fix
Buy an avocado.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And so, I went bad on her, like, and in front of everybody. And the way she reacted was she kind of just like, and just like, she just, pushed it through, and she just turned around and she just kept walking down the aisle. And I just felt so bad. I was like, she was just here to she just got probably enough energy to get up and go to the grocery store, to feed her kids, have a good day, just like, so all these things are going through my mind because it's like, I understand what sometimes it's just like so hard just to do just basic stuff. And I'm like charging through the grocery store because, I got PMDD like on 10.
You keep saying you have PMDD, right?
Mm-hmm.
For anyone listening to this, they could be like, okay, well, what about other things that you could have been diagnosed with? Like we know that things that affect, our brain, and I'm not even going to sit here and self-diagnose anyone, but it could be like, well, what about bipolar? What about this? Yes. How and who tied PMDD to these erratic outbursts and behavior? Because, of course, our menstrual cycle is connected to our hormones.
Yes.
So a hormonal imbalance, of course, causes mood swings, causes these roller coasters of emotions. But I want to know, at what point were you diagnosed with PMDD, and what was that conversation like getting to that diagnosis?
So it was right after the grocery store. So then I'm walking down the hall, and I see her, and I'm walking toward her like really fast, and I'm like raging, but because I want to apologize, because I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I just did this, and you just came out the house, and you just want to enjoy yourself, and do whatever. And I told her, I'm like, look, I'm going through something. I don't know what it is, but like, I'm so sorry. Like, I took that out on you. And she just grabbed me, and we were hugging and crying. We cried the whole time, and I was just like, I'm gonna fix it, okay? Whatever's wrong with me, I'm gonna fix it.
It's gotta be a way we can predict this shit. So yesterday, you was all angry and shit. What you eat?
Cupcake, champagne, bacon, and then eggs fried in bacon.
You masturbate?
Yeah.
Was it a full moon?
There's a lot of crazy people, so I would suspect so.
We gotta start writing this shit down. We can't run a business if we don't know when we open.
And so I went home and I started I was like, what am I eating? Whenever I have sex, whenever my period is, whatever my mood is, am I hypersexual during this time or what? And I took that to the internet, and I found out, okay, I go into rage 10 days before my period. Every single time, 10 days, like it happens every time. I know when I'm going to rage on the dot. And so I went to the doctor. I was like, hey, I have PMDD. And they're like,
not you went to the doctor and said, hey, this is what I have, because the internet said so. How did they respond to that?
You know what? She was just like, well, I said, hey, I have PMDD, give me Xanax. And she said no. so I was like, but this is what Xanax is made for. Like, if you feel like the way I feel, you know. And so she sent me to a psychiatrist, and they prescribed me all of these drugs. And I just never took them because I was like, oh, but there's all these side effects. Like, I've been dealing with PMDD, and then I realized, you know, since I was 12. But then there's side effects with the, you know, SSRIs, which you need for when your hormones are fluctuating. Clinicians and researchers, they don't agree on this, but you're hypersensitive to the change in your hormones, or you have a surge in your hormones, and you're just hypersensitive to that surge. But for me, I asked her, I was like, hey, can you run these tests? Like, I want to know what my hormone levels are. I want to know this, I want to know that. And, you know, I mispronounced like luteal phase. I'm like I probably said the little phase or something like that, you know? And she was like, you mean luteal? Like, she's like, you have to go to you have to be like a doctor to understand this. Like, you know, you don't but the way she said it was really bitchy. I was like, bitch, do you got PMDD? so, you know, I was just like, I'm just going to treat myself. I'm going to like do herbs. I'm going to, you know, try all of that. And I think what really ended up working, what really ended up working was that I no longer had that like, okay, I need to watch myself when I am like, this is like right before I'm about to explode, I need to pull back.
Right, of course. Kind of have more of control.
Yeah, but it was...
Be more in control.
Yeah, but what turned out, what really worked for me was like, oh, you're tripping from the beginning. Like, I'm tripping. The way I'm seeing this, like, through this lens is not the lens of, like, I'm not in the right mind. I'm not grounded.
I actually want to ask, how long have y'all been friends?
Since we started filming Donna and Allie.
Yes.
I want to know if you've experienced personally any of her mood swings associated to PMDD or right before her period. Yeah.
You can be honest.
Yeah, I think for the most part, like, Shy's been really sweet and cool, and, you know, you could tell that this is something that she's been working on managing, because she'll say, I'm PMDDing.
I wanted to know then, too, what is your relationship with your period? Do you cramp? Do you have any side effects as well?
I'm cramping right now, okay? I'm like, yes, this conversation is great. Like, you know? Yeah, well, I mean, I didn't know what PMDD was either, you know? And, like, even before we started filming, Shy had reached out to me on Instagram, and I didn't even read the script because, you know, Instagram, I'm sure you know more than I do that people hit you up all the time with things that are not real. So I was just like, I don't know who this girl is. And I'm like, and she's like, hey, are you gonna do it? And I'm like, sure. And then when I got there and I'm like, oh, okay, this is it. And I'm trying to read the script real quick because I'm like, this is serious. This is a real movie. I was just like, damn, like, it was pretty mind blowing to me. And it was actually on the way to the airport, and I was telling Shy like how every month around my period, you know, I'm like depressed. And I'm in this point in my life where I'm like, no, like, I'm not working no job. If I'm going to be late, I'm going to be late. If you don't like that, then I guess me being on time is more worth me being here. You know?
She did that. Y'all, she was on time. She was on time.
That's because she lied about when we had to be here.
Oh, see?
I did.
You were a real one.
I told them, I said 1 o'clock, but we need to be 10 minutes earlier. But we really have to be 1:30, 10 minutes earlier.
See? Okay. No, I love that. Y'all were on time, and I love that for us. It's interesting because with my period, I do notice mood swings a little bit, but that's why for me, when I am right before my period, I just want to be alone. I know I don't want to really be around people. I don't want to be in people's spaces. I don't even want the touch of a man. I don't need my friends by me. I just need my alone time. That's my Netflix time. That's my work time. That's I'm just going to cuddle with my cat time. Now, I want to talk about bringing this to film. In Donna and Allie, PMDD is discussed. The mood swings are referenced. You see the characters interacting and engaging with your rage. Yeah. I want to know then what that looked like in the writer's room or with bringing this to film, explaining PMDD in a way that people weren't just like, oh, you a crazy bitch.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, so I definitely wanted to make it digestible, and I felt that was the only way to do it, you know, and I know who my audience is. I really wanted to reach out to Black, younger girls. You know, that's, you know, and that was the audience, and so I said, I knew I wanted to do a movie about PMDD. I did want to make it fun, but I wanted to highlight the criminalization of young Black girls with mental health issues because that is so important. Usually it's, you know, she's a Black girl with a bad attitude, and that's what I got, you know, my whole life. I had a bad attitude. But it's like we're going through a lot,
struggling.
and we're pushing through it. So it's like a lot of people identify PMDD as debilitating. You know, it's like it's so debilitating that which makes it not PMS. But the way I feel like as Black women, you know, debilitating. We have to go through so much for us to feel like it's debilitating.
we're working. There's women out here who are mothers, and it's crazy because in season 1 we had. I had a conversation with a girl who was also battling with a woman. That was battling PMDD, and hers got so severe. She was fighting suicidal ideations. Yes. Yeah. So she remembers she ended up going to the doctor about it because she remembers right before her period being at a stop sign, and she had thoughts of just wanting to run it when a car was coming, and she was like, "My mind is not in the right place. What is this?" And literally she was seeing the same signs. It was these thoughts and these actions were coming across almost in a cycle.
Yeah.
The same time every month.
Yes.
And so I want to know with Donna and Allie how you're bringing this like entertainment factor to also educating your audience. Like, do you have at all like scenes where you're explaining it to your friends or family, the doctors? Like, what can you explain more about that again? Showcasing it in that way?
Yeah, and so we go through the whole evolution of sort of like her mental health and how she's criminalized for it, and she's on the run, and then she way later finds out that she has PMDD. And so we do talk about like, you know, serotonin and GABA. We you know, break the fourth wall. We just go ahead and straight up
I love it.
Talk about it.
How do you show up in Donna and Allie?
Well, I think Shai did a really amazing job at writing these two characters because it's like Donna is this character who's experiencing this physical thing and nobody knows it, but Allie is like the person who sticks by her. So it's like there is a scientific breakdown of like, this is how PMDD works, but it's like seeing how, I don't know, like the way the movie ends, how Black women can thrive with sisterhood, you know? Because that's like the big theme for me is, of course it's about PMDD, but it's like how I and we showed up for each other through, you know, her PMDD was affecting her and me. She was messing with the money. We was losing our jobs. I'm like, girl, you would come on, you know? And then it's like at a point where I'm like, damn, now you're getting better and you know, you're not being crazy and it's hurting our money now. And now I'm like, oh, you know, so it's like the friendship piece. That's kind of how I show up, you know?
I love that. I think community is really important. And again, these conversations only yield in stronger sisterhood and friendships because I think only women can understand sometimes what we're really going through or how we feel. Real. You sitting here cramping. Bitch, I know how you feel. You know what I mean? And I'm sure there's so many other women that have gone through these emotional roller coasters right before their period and can't explain it. And then, of course, then the men in our lives are like, what the hell is wrong with you? And it's just like, this is something that is almost uncontrollable that I have to figure out how to live with.
Hey, Donna. Damn. Girl, you just went in the bathroom like Clark Kent and came back out like Superman with a whole new attitude. You kills me.
Don't worry, my friend okay. You okay, friend?
I ain't got time for this. Allie, call me later, okay?
Do we need to adjust the calendar? Yo, stank attitude is supposed to start tomorrow.
I just don't like that bitch.
Why?
Okay. Remember we were at the group home and I had a crush on Go Dave and he came over and he was like, damn, she looks like a cover girl.
No.
Okay, so he was like, damn, she looked like a cover girl. And then Trina was like, she need cover up.
So what?
She said I needed cover up.
Shit.
You know how I felt about my acne?
I do.
So then I go to the back of the room I'm hella mad. I'm going crazy. So I'm breaking shit. Put a hole in the wall. I'm just like, ugh. I got that ugly face, that monster face. And then he came in and he seen me look like a psycho, hella deranged and shit.
Donna, that was 15 years ago.
She's still talking shit.
So you still trip... Come on, let's just do this.
I hate that bitch.
Donna, I ain't gonna lie to you. This looking kind of patterny. Look, 14, 15, 16, 17. 15, 16, 17.
17 good days, 10 bad days, over and over again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, shit.
Do that mean anything to you?
No.
Does the number 17 mean anything to you?
No.
Okay, cool. Let's get this money.
And so for anyone hearing this, and again, you're like, I know I've experienced this since I was 12 years old. Yeah. What advice would you give to someone who may experience these erratic emotional changes right before their period? What things should they go into the doctor and do? I would say don't go into the doctor self-diagnosing yourself as having PMDD and then requesting Xanax. But
don't request a Xanax.
Don't request a Xanax.
Get a Xanax from me.
How else would you say a woman should go into the doctor's office and advocate when their hormonal imbalance is out of control?
Yeah, I would say that advocate, that you have to advocate for yourself, because everyone knows, these healthcare systems are not, they're not taking care of us. They're not listening to us. They're not taking us serious. A lot of times they are causing harm, the one thing that they're not supposed to do. So I think that, and the other thing is a lot of the Black gynecologists, they're all booked up. You can't get
That's the truth.
Yeah. You can't.
It's because there's so few of them in comparison,
Yeah.
And that's what we're seeking. And what about for you? How have you, through this process of not only filming this show, but just through your own education and friendships and learning more about your body, how have you found that you've advocated or learned more about yourself through these conversations?
Well, I feel like I'm a big believer in a divine alignment. And so Shy and PMDD in this movie came into my life at the right time. I've experienced a lot of sexual trauma in my life, and it didn't start showing up physically until, after I was 25. And I'm like, why is my body betraying me? I was twerking all over the place when I was in my 20s. I was getting it off. And so
in what ways do you feel like your body started betraying you?
Well, I had ovarian cysts. I was getting, still every month now I get, a cystic mass in my breast, and it's related to my hormones.
Oh, wow.
So it's this, heavy block, and then it comes every month. And, and it was just my vagina was very sad, and she was we were not on the same page. And I was like I would be crying in the shower, what this being a woman thing is really hard, and I have nobody to go to, and so I feel like I was kind of already on my own personal journey and because there's no research out there, that's why I'm like PMDD, I don't know what that is, I didn't even know what PMS is, and I'm 30,
Wow.
But there's no research about wombs and sexual health and sexual trauma and our cycles, we just don't have enough.
Not in ones that we can actually understand.
Yeah, and use and implement into our lives. So, I feel like more of these conversations happening. I'm still learning more about myself and how to show up during my period, but I smoke a lot of weed. I try to drink my water,
You try to drink your water. You smoke weed, but you try to drink water.
Every time I hit it, I'm like, drink water, because if you don't drink water, then you're going to start munching, and then it's going to make your period worse.
Oh, wow.
Eating hella high sugar. And I feel like it's that continuous balancing act of what am I eating, like you said, what am I eating, how's my sexual drive, how am I sleeping, how am I taking care of myself, and I'm like you, I lay on the couch. My son, no, I put on a little music, I start to looking out the window, he I'm gonna go in my room, okay?
And listen, and we say here, it's from the bathroom to the bedroom, how we take care of our bodies and the things that we put into it, but also, and literally put into it, the tampons, the pads, those things literally affect us. And like you say, we think our vagina's betraying us when it comes down to enjoying ourselves and enjoying partners.
I had to talk to her.
What, can you tell the people, how did you talk to your vagina?
I got into a child pose, okay, yoga child pose, and I was down. And I said, "Hey, girl, listen. I don't know what's going on. Is it stressful? But we got to get it together." And I kid you not, like the more I was talking to my vagina and talking about like my sexual experiences in therapy, like I was having physical reactions. Like my vagina was like crying damn near, you know, like releasing this pent up, you know, that's affecting me. And it all works with your cycle, everything, you know, like.
Which is why when you're stressed, your period can come twice or not come. Like
Right.
all of it is absolutely attached. Before we wrap up though, I do want you to let the audience know what they can expect from watching Donna and Allie, where they can watch it, what your favorite scenes are, and go ahead and you know, let them know where to see it.
Yeah, and I just want to, I mean, what you can expect from Donna and Allie, the first thing is when Maximilian, I was going through his catalog, and I saw Qing Key. Traximilian.
I was like, who's Maximilian?
It's okay. I called her King Shy earlier, so if she
We on our periods. We get to
we
make
are on our
mistakes.
periods. We can actually mess up words.
But let me put
It's a part of our symptoms.
Yes. Well, let me put some respect on his name because I didn't know who he was when he had passed, and I saw all these posts and I was like, well, let me look at his catalog, and he had this amazing catalog, and she was on it, and I was like, oh my God, she's fire. And so I just stalked her for a really long time, and this is how I started writing Donna and Allie. I just saw her and I was so inspired, and I was like, yes.
You built a character.
I built
on
a character.
her.
I didn't even know her, and I was like, you know what? I got my whole team, you know, attached before I even reached out to her, and I was like rewriting it like over and over. Like, does this sound good? You think she'll, you know? Because I don't want her to feel like we doing her a favor. You know, you got to come at them correct. Like, you doing us a favor. You know?
I know that's right.
So we were like, we wrote it, and then I sent it to her, and she was like, sure. So I think what you're gonna expect is you're gonna see like Qing Key's amazing personality. Like, she's just such a joy to watch, and she's just so amazing. And I think that people this will be a movie that you're gonna rewatch, and that's what we're hearing all the time. Like, we're rewatching it because we love Qing Key. You know?
Shy's being humble, you know. I love that she's always pouring into me, but you know, you're definitely, as soon as the movie comes on, it's star power, you know, like many people have come up to me and it's like, I thought y'all were best friends for a long, like the chemistry is crazy.
I see it right now. I was like, so how long you been dealing with her PMDD girl?
You know, like 3 months,
you know, since we made the show.
Yeah, but I feel like watching it, what you're gonna really expect is, especially for women, you're gonna see a true, authentic reflection of sisterhood and young womanhood, you know? And, you know, she wrote these characters, they're from the streets, like they're from the hood, and they're very Bay Area, you feel me? They're very, very Bay Area, very Oakland, and so you're definitely gonna get that. And I will say my favorite scene is when we go into our sex work, not to spoil it, because just to be shallow, I look very good in that scene. So I'm like, yes, y'all seen that scene though, right? Remember that? But there was also a scene where we get into a fight. And filming it, I was like, I hated it. We had to roll around this dirty bathroom floor, and she had to like fake pee on me, and I am OCD in a bathroom. And I'm like, oh, like, you feel me? I had the it was the worst. But watching it, like, it's such a passionate, like, emotional scene, like, it's really good. So
I'm excited. Let our listeners know where they can tune in and also where they can follow you ladies.
Yeah, so you can watch Donna and Allie on Tubi, Plex, and Apple TV. And also follow me, Cousin Shy, COUSINSHY.
Yes, and you know, when you watch Donna and Allie, you're gonna hear my music because I am a rap
it.
star.
Come on, composition.
You feel me? Okay, so I'm on all the streaming platforms, YouTube. I got all the videos, award-winning music video director here. Okay, and you can follow me at All Hail the King. All Hail the QING. No U. I know everybody want to put a U behind the Q. No U. Yeah, and you know, tap in with us.
Yeah. Follow Donna and Allie too on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter.
And as you know, all of that information will be in the description of this episode. Ladies, thank you so much for joining me. And y'all stay tuned for some stats and facts coming your way. Oh my God, I cannot wait to tune in to Donna and Allie, and I hope that you guys do too. Cousin Shy and Qing Key were amazing. Taking inventory of how you feel during these days is really important and extremely important for you to get to know yourself. Today, we talked about PMDD and how it resulted in constant fighting, obstacles in relationships, and eventually troubles with the law. Now, 31 million females worldwide may be silently grappling with premenstrual dysphoric disorder, or PMDD. We all know a lot of us battle with PMS as well. It's important to not criminalize mental health issues because some symptoms include intense mood swings, chronic irritability, depression, and other debilitating symptoms in the days leading up to menstruation. Now, y'all, we have cramps, we have all these things, but symptoms of PMDD can literally overlap with other psychiatric disorders such as major depressive disorder, thyroid disease, hyperthyroid, or hypothyroid. Hyper and hypo. Baby, there's a lot of them, okay? This was an incredible conversation because so many of these symptoms, many of our friends, sisters, parents experience on a monthly, literally. We have this monthly cycle, so many of us, and it's really important to continue these conversations. Before we get out of here, we want to thank Bel Air once again for letting us use this absolutely beautiful set. Again, if you want to see what it looks like because you're listening on wherever you listen to your favorite platforms, make sure you head on over to YouTube to watch the whole episode now. Guys, thank you for tuning in and cannot wait for another conversation on womanhood. This has been yet another episode of Period Sis. Bye, guys. See you next week.